Ah,
I don't want your job.
mm. Are you sure you don't want? We can exchange.
No, I like my job more. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Are we live? Are we live?
Yes,
Let me.
it's showing. I think it says live, red up above.
Yes, it's showing.
Okay, cool. I think we're live on YouTube. Yes, we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to AsyncAPI. So today we have special guests. I'm not alone. We have special guests from the community. Today we have Alejandra, our lead documentation engineer. So we'll be delving into GSOT. Yes, Async API X GSOT 2023. Yay! Would you like to say hello, Alejandra?
Hola a la comunidad de AsyncAPI global.
Yay! Oh God, I wish I could speak Spanish, you know. I'm so jealous, right? The only language that I know is English and a little bit of Portuguese, but hey, I really wish I could know other languages, but definitely I will learn thanks to Duolingo. Yeah,
Yes,
I'm getting there.
Duolingo myself. I'm actually right now starting. I've been doing German in Duolingo, and it's just I love it. So I was just gonna say Duolingo, Duolingo.
Yes, I'm doing Duolingo. So I'm doing a bit of Spanish. I know a bit of Italian from my previous job. So yeah, a bit there. So yeah, we will get there one day. So anyway, let's get to what we are supposed to do today. So we'll be talking about GSOT, right? Like we have a nice outline today. I promise, Alejandra, I will not be pulling surprise punches of questions. So definitely I'll be in line. So okay,
I
Alejandra,
can always
whenever
decline to answer. No comment.
okay, no worries. Trust me, I won't give you surprises.
Cool.
All right, so let's get right into it. So today we are talking about GSOT 2023. We are glad that we actually participating again. We participated last year and this year. Thank you to the wonderful work of Alejandra. And as usual, she did an awesome job and she did all the interviews again. I'm sure you're so exhausted, right?
Not now because they're over.
But anyway,
the first week was the only one where I was like, people.
Anyway, Alejandra is a superhuman. So anyway, she can do all things. I mean, trust me, she's been doing amazing work and we are so excited like to meet GSOT 2023 participants as well. So before we get right into it, we'll reserve that for towards the end. So would you mind giving us like a detailed overview of the projects that are participating this year?
Yes. So this year we had a community vote earlier in the year, and we had 5 ideas proposed to the community of what could be our this year's project for GSOT. And after the community voted, we ended up selecting the top 2 projects with the most votes, and the ones that so now the ones that we're working on, to answer your question, is first the AsyncAPI document needs to be documented, like each section of the document, and that's actually like a fairly long list of items to document. It's going to be at least, I think, 10 new concept pages, I think, at least. That's a big piece. And then the other project is we have not a lot of tutorial content right now, but that said, the 4-piece tutorials that we have left over made from last year's GSOT's project are kind of like a first 100 level introduction to working with AsyncAPI. And so that content would be really great in being repurposed for creating interactive content. And so that second project this year that we're doing is interactive learning paths. And we have yet to submit a community vote for the platform because we could do killer quota where we currently have one live tutorial, which surprisingly gets a lot of traffic, though, even though it's just one, it actually gets a lot of traffic, which leads us to further think that the community wants more of this and that we should invest further in this. So yeah, creating a 100 learning interactive path, whether in Kilakoda or the Linux platform, and the other one. So a lot of good work.
Okay. All right, so moving right along. So how will GSOT 23 be different from last year, and what changes are you bringing in to like improve the experience for the mentees as well?
So this year, I'm definitely going to be a lot more scarier.
Oh God.
I'm just joking.
Oh, are you?
And I feel like, Thule, you have a lot of context into what I mean and where you know what I mean.
I'll keep reserved. I'll keep myself reserved today. I'll be a good girl. I'll be a good child today. I'm not gonna say anything bad. I'm not gonna say anything.
Good. Yeah, I'll be a good person too, I guess, at least for this question. I can't promise for the rest. But essentially last year we had a couple of performers that were like not really communicative, making excuses consistently when asked for improvements or when given feedback, no real accountability or showing up or like finishing. They didn't really finish their project like the grade that we would have expected. And so I identified and
no, don't be scared. Trust me, Ale is the best person ever. So don't be scared, trust me. But she can be scary though.
No, but we need to say live what she said, because right, she said, you're scaring me now.
Don't worry.
So like, I described right now someone who is like non-responsive. You can't ever get a hold of them. They don't show up for things that they need to show up to. They don't fulfill their responsibilities that they committed to for this, writing program. Notice how I'm describing someone that doesn't want to grow or do their best, right? I'm not describing someone who is new or learning, right? That's not what I'm describing at all. I'm not describing a growing person. That's when it's a problem, right? So anyway, I wanted to myself improve the process, learn from this frustration that happened last year. And so I realized that I needed to have a more detailed interview process that didn't just trust that, oh, every technical writer is going to be a good person. I mean, silly. So, and so this year, I that meant setting more time aside to actually think about the interview process. And so I designed the written interview application, which makes sense because it's a writing program. Why would you not be able to do a written application? And so then, we had a long list of questions such as, please detail 3 things that you want to improve and change in AsyncAPI docs. And we had a lot of people give generic answers such as all documentation should have a great user experience. User experience is very important because blah, blah, blah. And like, what the hell does that have to do with AsyncAPI docs? You're not like, yes, I agree. And everyone should, brush their teeth and comb their hair and have breakfast. It's like that stuff everyone should do, but that stuff all documentation should do. So that's not specific to me. That's not specific to AsyncAPI documentation. So then there were other questions such as, please list 3 things that you want to improve in yourself as a technical writer. And I had some people copy and paste the same answer they had given to the other question about what to improve in the docs for AsyncAPI. I was like, what? No, that's you as a technical writer. Like, oh my goodness, this person didn't even read the question. Oh my goodness. Okay, so there were like a lot of questions that I really took the time to think out, because I wanted to be able to weed out those kind of applicants
Mhm.
because people who weren't paying attention to the questions, to the level of detail that I put into what I thought out for the questions, obviously those people weren't going to do the best for the community for the documentation.
Yes. Mhm.
So anyway, all that to say, I knew that just the people that completed the application were someone to be considered, because like there was a lot of work that the applicant had to do for this
Mhm.
application. So I was already a good sign for someone to actually finish the application.
Okay.
And then after that, you know, out of the 87 applications, oh, sorry, wait, what was the original question? My brain just got too excited.
Like what experience in changes, but actually is actually good, because yes, it is the changes that you brought in like this year that were different from last year. I know our interview process was way different than this year, so those are some of the changes that you brought in. So yeah, you're still at the right track.
Thank you for and also for like and also help guide me if I like get too excited and start going through I think they say in English a rabbit trail, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was like the big improvement, was the interview process completely changed. And so then to finish off, I selected 15 from the overall 87 applications for the next and final phase of the interview process. And so this way, the second way which it improved was that now we actually had a live writing exercise and a live editing exercise.
Okay.
And it really forced the applicants to really themselves actually realize, oh, do I actually like this? And do I actually know how to do this? Or do I just imagine that I could be good at this? Right? Like sometimes I watch a video of a dancer and I can imagine myself being like super amazing dancer.
Yeah.
But
In reality, come back to reality.
Exactly. And so like that happens to writers or would be aspirant writers as well. And so like I want to be able to also help the candidate like have like a bit of a reality check themselves, because if we're not constantly having reality checks, we're never going to keep growing. Right?
True.
Like
Yes.
So anyway, at that point, you know, there were actually of the 15 people set up for the live interview, there were 2 no-shows, no communication. And I was very disappointed in those individuals. Because you know, those spots could have been like anyway, I thought, should I have selected somebody else? But I thought, no, I really didn't. The other applications were just not. No. So anyway, so there were 13 actual interviews, and of the 13 people that I actually interviewed, there were a few folks that definitely showed a lot of promise and skill and talent, and they were very quick and fast at identifying mistakes and things that they had to correct in the exercise. Actually, Vaswati, who's with us live in the Zoom call, she found 9 things right away. I just, it was almost like talking to a computer. I was a little bit scared. I'm not going to lie. So I threw the question at her, which I thought was a hard one. And then like 3 seconds later, she goes, well, boom, 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 boom,
Oh
boom,
my
boom.
God.
Oh my God, it's like, did I log into ChatGPT or am I talking with Swati? Like she was so quick and so fast, and she just boom, 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 like she just identified so many things so quickly. And I was like, shit, she's gonna come for my job tomorrow. So they run. So I was and I wanted to like call that out because it speaks clearly to like her passion and the work that she puts into whatever she does now as a student and as a contributor. Like it's clearly paying off, her dedication to tech, because she's very talented, and very excited that we get to have her. And we also have Mufasa and Rohit in the call, and we're also very, very excited to work with them. Don't want anyone to feel left out. But
Okay.
yes.
I'm just curious. So with ChatGPT now and the whole vibe with AI tools, so did you see like people having copy and paste kind of applications?
Oh, that's a
I'm
very
just
Yes.
curious.
Yes, I thought myself, from what I evaluated, that at least 60% of the applications were like that.
Okay.
Especially because when I was comparing, hey, stop, break it off. That's too much. No, sorry, give me a second. My crazy dogs. Good. Take a break. Tú también. Down. Take a break. Sorry about that. So when I was looking at the question specifically, list 3 ways in which you would like to improve AsyncAPI documentation.
Mhm.
I'm looking at this row in my Excel sheet down, down this
Mhm.
or column, I guess it's
Mhm.
called. And I suddenly see so many of them looks written the same.
Emily. Mhm.
No, they were like almost, some of them almost word by word were the same. And the main 3 points were the same. And the sentences. And I just said,
Okay.
like, did these folks all get together and write the same answer? Or did they all use the same chat GPT? Well,
Mm.
it was just like, how else would they have been so insanely similar, the way that they were written and everything? And so
Mhm.
automatically I was concerned. And the rest of the application was very lazily filled out. So I was just, then, I think that itself, like making all these changes and really thinking about how to weed out
Mhm.
that. Now, I'm not saying that it's like perfect or that it can't be further improved. And
Mhm.
I don't know, like we did just find out that unfortunately Abhishek won't be able to join us because of outreachy.
Mhm.
He asked me and I said I don't know, which I really didn't know if he was
Mhm.
involved or not. But because of the outreachy internship, which he does have, he actually can't, they don't allow him to do a second one. And
Mhm.
so he actually can't do GSOD with us this year.
Okay.
So he just told us, so we just found out. But then that means more money for the remaining technical writers. But now I have to think about, wait, what if someone this year also is not completing their project? Should they get paid the same amount that everybody else? How do you manage that?
Mhm.
So I'm not saying that like the process is perfect, but
We learn from that.
yes, I hope so. And at least so far, none of the mentees that have worked with me have gone on to say that they're terrified of me. So I think it must not be going so badly.
I'm
Oh, wait, I
terrified of
think
you. I'm terrified of you.
no, it's live.
I'm
No, it's
I'm
recorded.
joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. Okay,
No, it's
so
safe.
before we move on and close the chapter, I just want to say, what advice would you give for someone who wants to retry to AsyncAPI and didn't make it? Maybe there's some people like, okay, how can I improve my application so that they can learn from their mistakes from this year?
Yes. Well, number one is, and it's really hard to do just in general as a person in life, but slow down. You cannot rush through a writing application any more than you would want to rush through a coding exercise application. Right? If
Yes.
you given a coding exercise, you'd be worried about, first of all, does this work? Second of all, you might probably think, oh, I should probably write a test for this because otherwise it's going to look bad for me. So I have to write the test. And then, down. All the way. Good. And then second, you'd have to make sure that your code is as concise as possible, because you know that they're going to grade you on that too. Your style, your knowledge, your experience. And so you'd be like overthinking everything about the code example piece that you submitted to, this tech job. So in the same way, in the technical writing world, if you're not overthinking every little piece of your written application, that just definitely like a lack of passion, I would say, and maybe kind of an indication that you actually want to head in another area. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay. All right, cool. I'm sure some people will take your advice because definitely critical feedback is very important to improve on your applications. And definitely, if you improve on that, you will definitely get in next time. So, okay, moving right along. So I want to ask, like, what are some of the specific elements that contributed to the success of last year's GSOT? And how are you planning to build on them this year?
Oh, okay. Well, 100% the well, okay, 90% of the success was the actual community members that joined us last year. You know,
Mhm.
you, Julie, Karuna, Florence, Pratik, etc. You know, like all the specific GSOD interns that worked with us for the success, because like they were the ones that did all the work.
Mhm.
And also you folks you know, helped me grow as you know, as a lead, and everyone had to grow because of the changes that came in, also from having finally
Mhm.
more women in the
Mhm.
AsyncAPI. And now it was kind of nice that I was very excited that there was more than one woman of color
Mhm.
in the entire you know, intern. And so like just like the fact that we were able to have very different diverse people was, I think, a huge part of the success.
Mhm.
And then the other big success was just like the work that they were able to finish themselves, that you folks probably wondered if you could, but then you were like, oh my goodness, I did it, yay.
Mhm.
And then the third success was that we couldn't, like, I can't believe that you are hired today and working full-time as a community manager. Like, that's just crazy, right? Like, that's weird. Like, you and I didn't think about that when we were on the
Mhm.
first phone call, right?
No, not at all. It just changes. It just happens spontaneously. Like, oh, really? Did this just happen?
Yeah, and then Karuna from last year, she went on, and from what she learned with us,
Mhm.
with me as well, you know.
Yeah. Mhm.
uh,
Mhm.
uh, she finally got her first full-time job as a technical writer. She's
Mhm.
very excited. And you know, Florence has continued to be a core contributor and is
Mhm.
now a formal TSC member.
Mhm.
You yourself are now, right now, you also can be a TSC member because you just got added as a code
Mhm.
owner
Mhm.
in an area in the AsyncAPI. So like that's just like even more than I was hoping we would the way that our contributors grew and the way that contributors have continued to be full-time involved with us. You know, like that's like even more success than we expected from last year.
Mhm.
'Cause I thought, what if, you know, after the program everyone goes on to whatever
What
stuff.
are the- Mhm.
So that's just really crazy. That's exciting. I can't believe that happened last year. And so I'm hoping that the same exciting stuff happens this year, and that we continue
Mhm.
to learn and grow and improve and keep writing better docs for the community.
Mhm. That's true. So to my next question, because of time, what are some of the most important skills like and qualities that you think the technical writers should possess this year? Mm-hmm. What are some of the skills and qualities that they really need to possess?
Oh, yes. Well, if we well, we actually just published in a blog, we just published a post on this, right? I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna open it up in my computer. Can I screen share?
Yes, you can screen share.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna try screen share. 1 second. Okay. Okay, I found the link, so now I can screen share.
Okay.
All right, can you see my screen okay?
Yes, it's coming up. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much, Sully, for helping us merge this blog post. So this is the Docs April report, and I'm not gonna read it, but I recommend everyone go ahead and after this phone call, this stream, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
this stream, not this phone call, read in detail so you can really understand like the factors and stuff. And so here I detail like from the writing perspective, multiple there were multiple preview deployment links. And so like I
Mm-hmm.
want our writers this year to always be really thinking about what links they're adding in their documentation, and not just
Mm-hmm.
like rush through and make mistakes leaving like preview links and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
The links in your anchor text in your documentation is a very important piece of your writing. You should be paying attention to it, and be thinking about accessibility always in the anchor text. And I will be giving like a writing editing workshop soon to this batch of new interns very soon after this, but we'll learn more about that. I also want our writers to think about how the outline of their document, what they need depending on the kind of content bucket that they're writing for. And again, you know, I'll cover this later in a workshop, which maybe we'll do live now that I think about it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sure even me, I would love to learn more. I'm still growing.
This way? Because not me, I'm stuck short. Okay, sorry, moving on. Then I really want everyone to think about editing very seriously. And I don't mean sometimes catching typos in your writing. Although that should be like the very like base level. Hey, no, stop, that's too much. Sorry. Take a break. Just a second. Yay, dog ownership. Hey, cut that out. Settle down. Señorita Capuchina. Down. Sorry. So I expect them to always research nouns and like technical terms that they, and not just assume that they know each one, and that relying on Grammarly is not enough, because remember that unless you are adding this technical jargon to your dictionary in Grammarly, it's not going to catch when you misspell Node.js, CLI, macOS, because it is trained on English type of content, not on technical jargon. So you can't just rely on Grammarly. You need to yourself also like either find another tool or yourself manually research each term to make sure that you actually know how to. So as an editor, I want them to always be thinking of how to be automate and be as consistent as possible, and how to be efficient, and to never trust themselves fully. And what I mean by that is, as humans, we're going to make mistakes, of course, every day. But as an editor, we're going to make mistakes every day. And so our eyes will be tired or whatever, or we'll be new and learning. So we won't catch all the mistakes that we should right away. So whenever you see one mistake, always think about, might this mistake have happened again in my writing? And so I want them to always be doubting themselves when they edit their own work, to catch their own mistakes. And I want them to always be replacing all, and not just doing manually, because if you just go one by one, you're going to make more mistakes. So be an editor that automates and is efficient, and that is aware of your own mistakes. And then a humble attitude that's going to listen and incorporate feedback, because like one thing I'm not going to deal with is arrogance. I don't have time for that. Don't take it out from my dogs, which I love to death. I'm not going to take that from you too. Okay, right, back to the point, Alejandra. Strong collaborative abilities. And so collaborative means that you are going to be an owner, and you're not going to be trying to show off how much you know, or show off to your mentees, like your fellow mentees, or mentors, your community managers. Hopefully you're not going to think that to succeed you want to like be arrogant and show us how you know more than us, because like that's not helpful. Like you want to always be like collaborative and think about what you're doing is not for you, it's for the community. Right? Yes, so always be community focused, always be collaboratively I can't speak words in English, focused, because it's open source, and you know it's supposed to be about the community. That is supposed to be the focus. So hopefully that helps us like stop like egos and things like that, or like hopefully to the, I don't know, anyway. And then get into the habit of always using grammar tools and research tools, if there's like an AI search engine that you really like find.com, you should be using these every time you write documentation, because now thanks to these tools, you basically have a subject matter expert right next to you. You don't have to wait in line as a junior for the next time a senior has time to talk to you.
Yeah,
right?
true. Yes.
Right? And so what does that mean? That means that you, junior, have access to you have that blocker removed. You have access now to the first level of knowledge that you needed to wait before. You don't need the human senior anymore. You can get the first level going. And so that means I expect more ownership and a faster process, if that makes sense, because you're not just like you saw, a lot of the blockers and time blockers were removed. So you can't just say, oh yeah, I didn't get anything done because they didn't have time to talk to me. Oh well, oops. Now it's like you can't pull that one up anymore. So anyway, but like that's good news. Like think about what a relief it is to not be seen as a burden so much, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So now you get to feel like it levels the playing field. So it's good for you. It's good for them. It's not a bad thing. It's not a high expectation. It's good news. Yay. Definitely I expect them to be really researching their content and thinking about what they're writing, because hopefully we all are aware of the fact that not anything we find on Google and not anything that a language model generates is going to be correct or
Correct.
factual.
Yes, true.
You know, right now, for example, when we think about ChatGPT, remember that the last time it was fed content was from 2021, right? So of course, AsyncAPI, the Spec 3 release coming up is completely different, right? And so that information is not going to be right now inside ChatGPT, right?
Yeah,
So
true. Yes.
there are some limitations that you always want to think about. But that said, like I went to ChatGPT the other day myself and I was curious and I fed it some information I had from some content that Jonas wrote about that Spec 3 brings. And so based on the content that he wrote where he describes the changes, I fed into ChatGPT and I said, hey, tell me, write me a document that kind of like explains the changes now with Spec 3. And it wrote me something that sounded really good and convincing. And I'm reading it and reading what Jonas wrote. And I'm like, hey, this seems to match up. I wonder if it's right. So I showed it to Sergio and I showed it to Jonas and I said, hey, can you tell me if this is correct? And they were like, well, actually, not really, because blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, damn it. Okay, right. Always remember that you don't just grab content that this language model generates for you or content that somebody wrote in a really good Medium blog post on Google, find on Google. You don't just grab that content and assume that it's factually correct. You always have to check with engineers that are building this the item that you're writing about, because they're the ones that be able to help you with your fact checking. So that's very, very important. That's it.
And communication.
Oh, you're so smart. Thank you. Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, definitely expect oh, wait, actually, you reminded me. There's two things. Thank you so much. You're such a blessing. So it's not just communication, but also thinking about attendance to the group workshops, the group meetings that we're going to have, and individual one-on-ones. So they're not going to be a lot of them. Like it's going to be balanced, but the 3 types of meetings, like there is an expectation that you must attend them. And of course, sometimes, you have a sick day. Like I'm not going to say that there might not be 1 or 2 days that you don't attend out of 6 months, but it should not, it's definitely not okay to assume that you can just be like, oh, sorry, I can't this week. Oh, actually this other week I can. Oh, actually, I went to the group meeting, so I don't need the one-on-one. Like you can't just be like you have to actually show up to these meetings, because like you signed up to a program where you said you wanted to be mentored, so you're gonna get mentored.
Yes.
Damn it, you'll get mentored. You're like you will not live to regret it, I promise. Like so anyway, there's an expectation that you have to attend these meetings, and we're all gonna agree as a group a best time for everyone to join. So no worries there, and we'll discuss like the best times for everyone and agree on the best thing for the whole group. But you must attend, you must show up, and communicate, which was what you said. Always communicate if you're having trouble joining a meeting, like DM me or DM our group or DM the docs channel and say, if you have the occasional 1 or 2 misses that you'll probably have during a 6 month program, that will happen a couple. You must always communicate beforehand to me, hey, I won't be able to join this one because of this and this happened, or whatever, I'm sick, or tomorrow I really need vacation, I don't know, whatever. But like you always have to communicate. And again, I'm not expecting a lot of the loss of attendance. I don't know what the word is. Always communicate all of the million of questions that you have. So you're always gonna, I think a lot of you might feel like, oh no, well, I already asked too many questions, or oh my goodness, if I ask her this question, she's really gonna think that I'm dumb. we worry about if I ask her this question, she's gonna be disappointed because I should already know the answer to this. And like that's not helpful to anyone, because like then you stay quiet and you don't tell me what you're actually struggling with, and then you don't get the help and support that you need. And I can't read your mind, and so I'm clueless about what's going on. So I'm not helping either, right? I'm not able to help. So like always be super honest, and if there's something that's not working for you, like communicate that back to me too, because everybody's different. Say,
yes, sure.
Like one example for me, which I'm different, like this is a live stream, so it's different, there's an exception, but usually I'm like Baswati and Mahfouz and Rohit here, like if I'm having like a group like live community call, I'm like I'm gonna turn off my camera, I don't want everybody looking at me, like I like my privacy, I like to turn off but when I'm doing a one-on-one thing, or when I'm actually like working with a team, then I do want to have our cameras on, because like now we're working together specifically, right? So like flexibility in that sometimes you're like, oh, not today, I can't turn on the camera, not a big deal. Or if you're very tired and you thought you were going to get something done today and you didn't, like nobody's going to die, I don't care, nobody cares. Like breathe, sleep, personal care comes first, but just always communicate and just say whatever, whenever you have questions, don't be shy. And if you're really lost and you don't know who to go to, like, then, that's what your mentors are for, reach out to me. I don't know, reach out to Thuli, or reach out to all three of us, like to all of us. Ace too, he does a lot of developer relation stuff, so you can ask him questions. You always want to remember to go to like our actual Slack channels, because the Slack channels are for different topics. So for example, if you're writing about a AsyncAPI document, like think about out of these channels, which makes the most sense. So, things like that.
Makes sense, actually. And I mean, the community is here to help. So reach out to anybody if you feel like Ariandra is not available, or she's out of office, or she's on holiday. So reach out to anybody, communicate. I mean, communication is very important. It doesn't matter, even if the questions you might think is silly, but actually it's very important that and you get clarification. Like for me, for instance, I started out, I didn't know Git. I'm coming from a data science background. I didn't know Git, so I didn't shy away to ask for help and say, hey, I don't know Git. Then people jumped up and helped me. Karuna helped me step by step until today. Oh my God, I'm now the master of Git. Trust me. I don't even have to like Google Git commands anymore. So yeah, you need to reach out and ask for help. Over communicate. It's rather to over communicate than under communicate. So yeah, it will be definitely helpful. Okay, enough about me chitty chatting. It's not my live stream anyway.
Oh, but it was fun, and we don't want to just be me talking like it, because then you're like part of the success stories, right? You need to keep selling the idea that it worked.
I need to sell the idea, right?
I think they believe you so far. It's going well.
Yeah, I hope so, because I also want to give them a chance to ask questions. So that's why I'm gonna run through everything so that I can feel free like to ask as well. So okay, let's move on to the next question. So what are the steps that you ensure that your sort is inclusive and accessible, regardless of any background, like in tech experience? So
yeah, for sure. So one thing is I did my best to be mindful of the fact that I don't know if this person has any disabilities or not. I don't
Mhm.
know how much education this person does or does not have.
Mhm.
I don't know what their level of writing or concentration style is, because everybody's so
Mhm.
different, right?
Yes.
And
Mhm.
we all agree that a live interview is not a normal situation. That's not
Mhm.
how you're ever going to
Mhm.
actually work when you're with the team, right?
Mhm.
And so it's such a unique, weird, different, stressful situation that I wanted to be very open to how each candidate might react very differently
Mhm.
in the call, and to not hold it against them, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Mhm. That makes sense. Yes.
So some candidates, like freaking Viswati was like, boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, okay, I hate you now. I hate you.
Uh-huh.
Before I know it, she's gonna be better than me. Like, I just
Mhm.
kidding. Like, but she's a very strong, very smart, quick candidate. Nobody's perfect, but like I was very impressed by her skill set, right?
Mhm.
Versus other candidates on the call who were a less advanced candidate with less experience, they some of them got very nervous and just completely froze, complete writer's block. They were just like,
Mhm.
I keep asking them questions. I keep saying like, or whatever. And they were listening, they were thinking about what I was saying, but they were still just frozen in place. And I could
Mhm.
tell that was just nerves, that was just writer's block. That's not like necessarily lack of experience. That's right. I can't see them because they're
Mhm.
frozen in place. And so what I did was like I would lower my expectations, and instead of
Mhm.
helping them to do a bigger piece, I would
Just
focus
mhm.
on one problem to solve, and I would guide
Mhm.
them to one problem to solve, and just to get them to feel confident in that they at least solved one problem before the call ended, and showed
Mhm.
me how they would fix the problem.
Okay.
The other thing was that some people were more, I don't know, like they were like more advanced in their technical knowledge about some things.
Mhm.
And other candidates were a lot newer, kind of like what you described, where you didn't even know how to use Git when you first
Mhm.
joined. But we didn't care, and we said, "Oh, it's not a big deal. You'll learn the basics in the first 2 weeks. You'll be fine."
Mhm.
uh, just threw you out like
Mhm.
the baby in the pool. And so don't do that. I'm joking. Never throw a baby into a pool. That's not how you teach them how to swim. That was a joke, in case that was not clear. And so I did the same with the candidates, where I knew that I wanted to make sure that they were, still able to show me how they write or how they solve a
Mhm.
problem. And the same thing with the editing. I wanted to make sure that they knew how to actually slow down and really think about what they needed to fact check, what they needed to proofread, like how to do this.
Mhm.
And some candidates just didn't really actually offer any improvements or fix anything,
Mhm.
but they sure had a lot of attitude during that call. And so just like obviously I'm sorry, not obviously. So by not holding against them when they had nerves, but like still being able to guide them to at least solve one problem, I was
Mhm.
able to assess like, this could work. I think that you could do our program. And also all
Mhm.
of them were in the written application had to share links to their writing samples and to their
Mhm.
portfolio. So
Mhm.
I already had been able to review some of their writings to like see. So there were some applicants which have even already contributed to AsyncAPI, but they were like
Mhm.
complete balls of stress on the phone call. And
Mhm.
so I knew that they were bad at interviewing, but I had already seen that they were good at contributing, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes sense. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, to my final question. So, how will the success of the program be measured overall?
Similar to last year, for the overall benefit of getting hopefully more grant money again, we have to
Mhm.
be able to prove to the people that gave us the grant money, in this case Google, that
Mhm.
they didn't just give us, that they haven't given us over $20,000 in vain, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
We need to finish the goals that we set for the beginning of GSOD. We must
Mhm.
complete all of the
Mhm.
tasks. And if that means that, which is what happened last year, and that's fine, that oops, well, actually it's going to take us a few more weeks or a few more months than we thought. There were like a few like a few 2 to 3 things that actually ended up taking a few months past the program to actually merge. But the majority, like all the other writing and editing, like all of that got done like at the end of the program completion. So like just understand that, like, you know, that is one important piece for sure. I would say like the main one. And I think that's really the main one. Yeah.
All right, cool. Just out of curiosity, what happens if someone doesn't finish their tasks? Are they gonna get paid?
Oh, wait. I just remembered something. I should have said that we would love to work on growing new contributors that want to continue contributing and build a bigger docs community. I'm so sorry. I forgot to say that. That's the success. Like if we can find more contributors and that like you move on and it's super exciting that you continue to work and contribute. That's like how we keep growing this open source project. But then you know, we can't do it without the community. So
Sure. All right, cool. This is all from me. I don't know. We have Paswati, we have Mafuza. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Forgive me if I didn't. And we have Rohit. Do you guys have any questions? The floor is yours. And also maybe introduce yourselves like to the community. We get to know you. What are your expectations out of the program? Maybe what are you hoping to achieve by the end of the program? Which areas would you like to improve in terms of skills? We'd like to hear from you. Okay. Should I choose or should go first?
So Mafus and everybody else, Thule just said that she also wants you to introduce yourselves to the community and talk about what your expectations are, so that we can start getting to know you. So we actually would love for all of the 3 of you folks on the call to do it.
So can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so from me as a technical writer, I have 3 years of experience on development. So I would love to grow more on technical writing skill on this side. And the thing is, I recently discovered my passion on technical writing, and I would really love to learn from you.
Okay, that's great. Did you get that, Ali? You're on mute.
Sorry about that. I heard the first part, but I could not hear the last part when she was talking about her goals for the program. I couldn't hear the last part.
My child is crying. Sorry. So the thing is, I would really love to learn from you because I am a newcomer in this technical writing side.
Okay, so she's saying that she would love to grow her technical writing skills because since she's a newcomer in the technical writing space, she's a developer. So she wants to grow her skills in the technical writing space. I'm not sure if I heard it correctly, but I think pretty much, yeah.
You got it right.
Okay, thank you. It's nice to meet you, and we'll be looking forward like to chat more and like to engage more with the community. Rohit, you raise your hand.
Hey everyone, how's everyone doing? So my name is Rohit and I'm one of the applicants who got selected for GSOT this year, and I'm really looking forward to this program, especially learning a lot from Alexandra. I'm one of the people who was actually very nervous while I was interviewing, probably because I was bad at it. But I'm really looking forward to learn from her and do some meaningful work, contribute to the community, and also help onboard new contributors, I guess, hopefully. So yeah.
Hey.
Oh, nice. Yay. Just one question. So what are you hoping to achieve like by the end of the GSOT program?
Uh, as in, you mean skill-wise, the way I write technical writing. So I like to sharpen the axe, as they say, with the skill set. Get better at technical writing. I might be at from 0 to 1. I've learned it on my own. Now I'd like to go from 1 to 10, and that's one thing. And the second thing is, uh, there is there are obviously a few parts about my technical writing that I might be weak in.
Mhm.
Uh, so those are a few things I'm looking forward to learn and get better at eventually.
Oh, great. I'm so happy and congratulations from being selected as well. Baswati?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, so I had a question like, when will we start like actually writing the docs? Like, is there any exact date?
Yes, she always has very, very good questions.
Mhm.
I'm warning you, watch out for this one. Yeah, so let me open the calendar so I can focus and answer you on this. So essentially by end of this week, we're gonna have a few different things. I'm gonna open a temp GSOD, not a temp GSOD channel, but like this year's like the candidates that were selected, a channel so that you can if you're really shy and like feel like nervous about spamming GSOD or too many GSOD tailored questions in the overall docs channel, which unfortunately, not all, you might feel maybe that you're shy and that not all your questions are like relevant to the public. So you can always DM me, or we can have a private like group channel so that you can all learn together from each other and keep it centralized. We'll also going to have, I'm gonna start in that group chat a question, like a survey where I need everyone to vote on different times to select our meetings so that I can start setting our first meetings up, because then based on what everyone votes this week, I will go ahead and set up the recurring meetings until the end of or mid-December. And it's going to be 3 kinds of meetings. So just a few one-on-ones, but definitely a lot of bi-weekly. We'll have bi-weekly group meetings. And again, in those group meetings, we're all going to be working and discussing what everyone is doing at an individual level so that we can learn from each other and we can all help each other with our projects and our pieces. And everyone is going to be assigned to work on both projects so that you really grow your writing skills and you really get a better skill set that'll help you later in getting a job. And before I assign content, I will be like talking to people in our first team call to kind of figure out what's a good thing to start assigning to everyone based on interest and skill level and, things to help you be successful. And then also to help you pick tasks that you're generally interested and passionate about. So we can't do all of that planning today, but in this first week, I first need to get these meetings set up, because in our first meeting, that's when we'll first start assigning work. And so the sooner we get the first meeting going, the sooner you'll get assigned work. So anyway, sorry, that's a long answer, but did that answer your question?
Yes, it did.
Cool.
And also like, since we will be assigned some issues and pull requests to work on, so is there a specific deadline for each pull request we complete, or we can take our time to like learn? I mean, is there some flexibility?
Yes, that's a good question. Well, the good news is you did not join a military school. So yes, there is flexibility. Yay. So first of all, I expect that especially the first couple of months, everyone is going to feel be slower, because you just joined, you're just getting onboarded, you're getting onboarded as a technical writer, as an editor, and into AsyncAPI, the technology. Those are like 3 different things. Like that's a lot of new stuff to digest, to start understanding how to work with it. And so I expect that the first month will be you mainly onboarding, learning. The first month is going to be us mostly having workshops, which is really what you need to be able to do the work. There is also some live workshops that I think we can use even from last year that Lucas recorded, where he made a 4-part workshop that will onboard you into the basics of event-driven architecture and AsyncAPI so that you can have the background knowledge to start writing your first document pieces.
Yeah.
Yep, that'll be it, pretty much.
That's great. I'm really excited.
Oh, yay. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you're still excited at the end of this phone call.
Yeah.
I hope we didn't scare you or anything, right?
Yeah. Sorry, David.
No,
Did
if
we?
anything, I'm more excited, to be honest. So
Oh,
I'm really looking forward to it.
okay. We did a good job selling this, right, Leandra?
Oh, Fuka says she's not scared anymore. That's good.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, finally. At least we did a pretty good job. Okay. Any last words that you'd like to say, Alejandra, before we close?
Can I just ask one last question before we wrap this
Okay.
up, I guess?
Yes.
So it has been at the back of my mind that, so like already Baswati mentioned, when an issue is assigned to us or a piece of document is to be written by us. So is it like we go one issue at a time, or are we assigned multiple issues or pieces assigned at a time that we can work on simultaneously, or is it going to be one issue after the other?
Yeah, that's a good question. There will be a few times where you are assigned one task at a time to help you to focus and actually get one thing done and out the door. But there will be other times where it will make more sense for you to do two tasks at the same time. What do I mean by that? So we need to do a community vote on a few things before we decide what platform to use, for example. So you could have that task assigned, start the community vote, be reaching out, asking people questions, reminding people to engage in the discussion at the same time that you can start writing your first document. So like, depending on the task and what makes sense, like there will be times when it's just one or sometimes it's two. But you're not going to be assigned like a million tasks, because that's not logical. The tasks that are meant to be worked also in some of them are meant to be worked in chronological order. The ones for the interactive learning path have to be done in chronological order. Like we can't, some of them can be done parallel. So anyway, and we'll go over this actually in our first team meeting, but it'll be mainly one task at a time, sometimes two.
Awesome, that clears it up. That clears it for me. So that's it for me. Yeah.
Okay. Any last questions?
I just want one last thing, if I could.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to encourage everyone to question me a lot and ask me a lot of questions about, but why? Because number one, it'll help you to actually really learn a lot and help you decide if you agree with me or not. And number two, I want you to question me to help figure out if my idea, my view of way of looking at things is the best way, because maybe you'll have better ideas than me sometimes. So I guess I should try to be open. Just kidding. Obviously, you're going to have a lot of great ideas that I will not have, because it's going to be more minds than my one mind. So I want you to question me and to say, hey, but I think this will make it more interactive. I think this will be more fun. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? Like, don't only listen and be passive, like really be involved and throw back questions at me, so that, because that's what we want. We want your ideas.
Yeah. Also, openness and willingness to learn as well, and a good attitude throughout the program will also be very great. It will add a lot. I mean, the end goal, typically the end goal is to learn and improve your new skills. So as long as we have that in mind as well, like have the openness and the willingness to learn. I mean, ask questions, don't be shy. It doesn't matter if you might think it's silly, but it's actually not. So be open. There's no shyness. Reach out, ask questions. But yeah, that will be it from me. I'm so glad and excited to meet you all, and I can't wait to see the amazing stuff that is going to come out from the docs this year, and I can't wait to see like the improvement that is coming and the changes that is coming. And honestly, I'm really super excited. And once again, congratulations for making it through this cut. And we are expecting great things from you. Yes, we are expecting great things from you. So with that in mind, any closing remarks before I say I end the live? Okay, cool. So thank you everyone for joining me today, and have a blessed night. It's night here already. Morning. Alejandro, you still have a full day ahead of you. I'm going to sleep. All
Thank
right,
you
then.
for having us.
Yes, thank you so much for taking your time to join me as well. And with that in mind,